string of a lute, you create a sound wave. But in the 10th century, a group of thinkers argued that this vibration was a mathematical mirror of physical reality, a resonance perfectly aligned with the laws of nature to treat disease. To understand how, we look to the Iraqi port city of Basra. Here, the Islamic Golden Age was experiencing a massive translation movement. Scholars were gathering ancient Greek, Persian, and Indian texts, combining them with Islamic theology to create a booming intellectual center. But the streets of Basra were deeply unstable. Political factions and violent sectarian divisions were fracturing the empire, making it highly dangerous to hold beliefs that challenged orthodox religious authorities. When asking the wrong philosophical question can invite persecution, you do not publish your ideas under your own name. You hide. A secret society formed. They called themselves the Brethren of Purity. They were an anonymous group of Muslim polymaths holding private meetings to discuss everything from astronomy to theology, insulated from the sectarian discord outside. Their name comes from a famous fable where a dove, a rat, a tortoise, and a gazelle are trapped in a hunter's net. Instead of panicking alone, the animals act as loyal friends. The rat gnaws the cords, the others create distractions, and together they all escape. The Brethren believed humanity was caught in a similar trap. They argued people were suffering from a sleep of negligence, distracted by the physical world and totally blind to the higher spiritual reality governing the universe. This frontispiece illustrates their solution. They wrote a 52-tract encyclopedia, synthesizing mathematics, natural sciences, and theology into one ethical system. While 51 tracts cover topics like physics, the centerpiece is the fourth, focusing entirely on the science of music. For the Brethren, studying musical harmony provided the exact mathematical blueprint needed to break out of the hunter's net of material illusion. The instrument they used to explain this was the oud, the classic short-necked Arabian lute. They argued that the oud was built to perfectly mirror the physical proportions and cycles of the cosmos. Every oud string mirrored the cosmos. The lowest aligns with earth and winter, the second to water and spring, the third to air and summer, the highest to fire and autumn. They even mapped these strings directly to the body's 4 medical humors. Because of these strictly defined mathematical correlations, striking a chord was a literal act of manipulating the physical laws of nature and the internal chemistry of the human body. By mapping the heavens to the strings, music functioned as a rigorous branch of medicine. A skilled musician acted as a medical auxiliary. If a patient was sick, a doctor would diagnose an imbalance in their humors, perhaps too much cold phlegm or excessive hot bile. The musician would then be prescribed to play the exact notes needed to counteract it. By selecting specific musical modes and rhythms, vibrations from the oud were thought to physically alter the humors, raising a patient's internal temperature, or drying out excess moisture to restore a healthy equilibrium. The Brethren of Purity even used this system to explain specific cultural differences. They proposed an environmental theory. The distinct musical systems of Greeks, Persians, and Arabs were the direct result of their local climates, geographical locations, and the alignment of the stars above them. Every local melody, every beating pulse, and every healthy human body was seen as a tiny, localized reflection of a much larger, silent harmony, the perfect rotation of the celestial spheres. Down on the streets of the 10th century Buyid Empire, however, music was a highly contested subject. Many Orthodox religious authorities viewed musical instruments with deep suspicion. If music was used for malahi, meaning amusement or secular entertainment, it was seen as an intoxicating force that distracted the mind, leading people away from God. The Brethren agreed that music was incredibly powerful, but they argued it should be utilized rather than banned. They believed it must be used as a strict spiritual tool, applied precisely to refine human desires and tame the chaotic forces of the soul. Claiming that you could mathematically manipulate the soul through a lute string was a controversial stance. Combined with the ongoing political violence and the strict religious orthodoxy, the Brethren knew their teachings would invite serious physical danger. They called themselves sleepers in the cave, choosing to remain entirely anonymous. That secrecy insulated their work from the destruction around them, ensuring their encyclopedias survived while other texts burned. This map traces how their 52 tracts quietly circulated through the medieval world. Their mathematical and musical theories secretly shaped the minds of later philosophical giants like Avicenna in Persia, and eventually traveled all the way across the Mediterranean into Al-Andalus in Spain. The Brethren proposed that the entire universe is a single, unified structure. In their view, no part of the world, from the rotation of the stars to the health of the human body, exists in isolation. They looked at mathematics, the biology of the body, the astronomy of the stars, and the art of music, and refused to treat them as separate subjects. They were different octaves of the exact same cosmic song. Studying the physical world was the ultimate act of tuning your own mind, bringing your internal humors into perfect balance, and preparing your soul to leave the physical body behind, and finally rejoin the vast mathematical harmony of the universe.